issues on intellectual property, software content patents. So the idea is to make a fast overview about the 100 companies, the editors, for example, in the world for softwares. Almost are from US, 67%, in the top 50, 76%. Europe is managing 20% of these companies. You have the position in the top list. France is 19th in position with Dassault system. So as you can see, we are in a quite good position. We could do better, but we are not in the first position. Global revenue in 2012, 255 billion of US dollars. This is the complete list. The same, all the sublines are the European companies on the lines. Fast overview about the 100 companies in the digital content industry, and these results is the worst. Almost of the companies are from US also, but as you can see, 83% in the top 50, 86, Europe 16, 31, 32, 39, 32, 49, and France 14. On the case of this French company, I didn't know before. I just discovered it between I do the case on the study case. The potential expected in G20 for the content industry is about 4.2 trillion growth in terms of US dollars. So this is the list. The companies from Europe are underlined. And this is the opportunities for Europe. For internet, for us, it's a major potentials in research and development, employment, security, economic growth, so continental stability. More progress in Europe. This is our identity initially, the progress. For US, it's very different. They have taken the train before us, so they are maintained their results. For them, they are using the law, brand patent US Department, protecting the intellectual property, brands monitoring on protecting their IP assets, and also law enforcement on Digital Millennium Copyright Act. What is the target for them? Stay first in the economic war. So the patents, it's very typical about what we are doing in research or development. As you can see, everyone is doing research and development. Europe, US, Japan, China, Korea, etc. So there is a major competition around patents. European Patents Office, as you can see in red color, increasing in Europe all the time. And we have a dynamic market on high level of research of development. A new phenomenon is Asia, developing research and development much more than before. Second element, European patent filings per country. Europe stay first, Asia second, US third, and others. The same things about European patent applications on key trends around technical fields. So where we are to progress is on digital communication, organic fine chemistry, engines, pumps, turbines, pharmaceuticals, and biotechnology. The others activities, we are in our base. I mean, we are continuing to invest where we have a strong industry or powerful. So we need to change that and go in the internet industry. For example, European patent applications, the key trends you see, Europe stay first, US 23%, Asia 19th. The same, so granted patents per country, Europe stay first, US second, Asia equal with US. So this is a phenomenon, a new phenomenon. As you can see, top applicant seekings, you have American company, European people from companies from Asia. You can find the same companies in the top applicants and the top patentees. So that means a strong competition around research and development. For example, the first risk we have around research and development is the economic intelligence. For example, big data and legislation will change a lot. Massive industrial spying activities, the Snowden case, okay, but it's not the most important. There is a lot of spying activities around research and development and used as weapons for touch or damage companies or get obtained technologies. For example, you have Stuxnet, PAMOS, the case of JP Morgan, Chase & Co., Saudi Aramco, SNECMA. It's a reality. It's not more a virtual aspect. Cybercrime activities on cyber terrorism, counterfeiting, activism, fraud, social engineering, Why cybercrime has changed? For example, narco-traffickers are going to the web because they are losing a lot of money around their initial activity. So they put the money on internet, the investment is very less, on benefits maximum. So for example, the ex-DCL in France told that 20% of the 8,000 attempts of spying were around Paris region. That's logical because all the industry on the headquarters are in Paris region in majors of the case. So hackers are looking for three major information related to the research and development, all the communications or exchange between the leaders of countries and others from the companies, on financial and business resource contracts on negotiation. So what has done the Council of Europe? For example, they have created the Budapest Convention on Cybercrime a few years after a specific place called the Octopus Community Cybercrime, in which one I am a member. It's a cooperation between public sector and private sector. As you can see, Article 10 is intellectual property and legal rights are mentioned inside the convention. So it's a powerful term to protect for us. Observation in the world. As you can see, many things are happening about internet. The heartbeat, as told my colleague before, and you have the European Court of Justice, Google, right to be forgotten. In France, Mr. Montebourg opening an idea about the Open Internet project with Mr. Gabriel from Berlin. The US Department of Justice on the CNIL saying we are all spied on track. This information is just to show you that everything is moving very, very fast. For example, this is a typical case. The Black Sheets software, the international police done an operation. On the other day, they attacked eBay in Luxembourg. So a few days after, the Chamber of Deputies of Luxembourg changed the law to adapt on the base of the Budapest Convention of Cybercrime. It's a reality. A place like Luxembourg, imagine if all the banks were attacked. It will be a real problem for the economy of Luxembourg, for example. And China saying that US government is using Cisco to make spying activities in the country. So we can vote this. All monitored, all equal, finally. The question and thoughts we could have about the intellectual property issues. An open internet project, okay, but is it a real politic evolution? An European industry rebalancing versus US internet industry? US is trying to impose their jurisdiction. Why not our European DMCA? On the future, we will see probably public legal tensions between titans. I take the example, for example, of Switzerland, who is trying to imagine a law using malware to attack other countries or other companies. It's not done for the moment, but it's in reflection. So which world would we like, finally? We could think about it. So governments for whom or by whom, finally, it's nearly the same. So I will do a fast overview, news about the world. Everything is done with Dilma Rousseff when she critiqued and denounced terrorist tracks. After, we have many elements on quite good. For me, all is beginning in January with the court in Washington was cancelled the FCC net neutrality rules. For example, you have the civil society meeting in New Delhi with the creation of JustNet Coalition. Europe and Brazil will take their own internet cable, so the necessary things to take their own infrastructure. And for example, the Brazilian Congress passes Internet Bill of Rights. This is a very interesting aspect to take in consideration. One day before the Net Mondial, they vote that. So it's a symbolic act from Brazil. And for example, we will go directly now to the alternatives. Is there some alternatives for us? Who is managing internet? Out of the governments and everything, we have to focus on industries. Nearly 55% of the TLD operators are from US. So what does it mean? They are from US law is in action finally. All the management on the IP addressing is managed from the ICANN in American legislation. So, the interest about the declaration of Net Mondial, 12 countries in the high-level committee. The statement of NetMondial proposed to strengthen the role of the internet governments on calls for proposals issued by the working group of the UN in place at the end of 2015. So the part of the statement I put there, taking the base of the human rights, and they explained very easily, I think, that we have to protect our rights on our data privacy, for example, on the online, as we have the same protection in the offline life. It's a responsibility in which one governments are accountable for the protection of our rights. So, alternatives. I think the multilingualism is not so many represented inside the actual representation. So United Nations was an interesting way to vote around a new governance. But many people say no, because inside the UN you have non-democratic states which are present. Okay, it's a possible argument. You have another things, technical alternative, open route, also on open internet projects. So the open route is very interesting for us in strategic naming. For example, we are all with the same standard, so we can say that we have all the same failures. Having a strategic naming with open route, we could have the way to decide that we will not be anymore a renter, we will not be renting our domain names, but we will be our owners. So this project can be a support with the Open Internet project from Europe. For example, Horizon 2020, neutrality challenges, trust and security for me, I think, are major challenges in the future. So the civil recommendation from the NetMondial, nothing is inside the document, all has been deleted at the end. Finally, the Internet Constitution about Brazilian citizens is very interesting. I think it's a possible example for us, because this is the first constitution of Internet in the worldwide where they are protecting the citizen against the spying activities. That means no companies can work with spying agencies from which there is no importance about the country. It's the same. It's for US, for France, for everyone. But they can't work with agencies about that topic. So it's very interesting about the right to protect people on their privacy. It's very important, I think, on the internet. So a new organization, okay, but how economically and legally will operate the organization? Is it a fight between private justice against public justice? NetMondial, is it a political commitment without legal value? So my thought is around the European dream. I've got some questions and thoughts. I think that our European dream is not dead. We can revive it with democracy and economy. So I have been taking a liberty to find if we have a kind of asylum, statement asylum in Europe. We are working around it. Why I'm telling about that? Because Snowden is a case from internet. It's a new case. It's a case very interesting about law, about asylum, because today we have nothing to determine it in Europe as an asylum or refugee, political refugee in Europe. So the new challenges for us is to integrate internet inside our economy with the democracy. So we have 6 topic majors, challenges, intellectual property and legal. This is all what we have today. In Europe, we don't have anymore a lot of industry. We have a lot of brain, almost. So economy, research and development, security, infrastructure, and democracy. As you can see, the first one is intellectual property and legal, and the final is democracy, because all is law, almost. So what is our European internet dream? We can think about it. So I think the base of the initial dream of Europe on the internet should be integrated as a common good of the international community. So as Martin Luther King, I have a dream. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Federico Smith. I was born in Brazil, in São Paulo. I was educated in France, and I've got 3 passports, Brazilian, Argentinian, and French. I would like to share now with you my dream on the concept of the future internet. So, in the cyberspace, we reproduce what we have done in the physical world. Today, I think history and the world are waiting to hear our voices again after the result of the elections in Europe. So I have a dream. I have a dream on internet representing all the communities in the world, representing the diversity of our world. I have a dream about an internet that will not be used as a massive monitoring device on global. I want a new world. And I think we can make and create this new world. Around the digital economy, we have so many potentials. So I think today, this is our day for our European dream around the internet. Thank you very much for your attention. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Federico. Now it's time for questions. So before giving the floor to the audience, we'll give the opportunity to the speaker to ask a question to the other speaker if there are.
Yes, thank you. And I mean, fascinating presentation. I really just wanted to make two sort of factual comments on ICANN and not to labour. I have a dream as well. I'm not sure it's quite the same dream, but it's along the same lines probably. But no, two aspects. First of all, what the US have decided to do. So